I'm kind of ashamed of how long it took me to finally get around to watching this show. I've got to say, it's definitely not what I thought it would be, and that's probably why I kept skipping it. But if I'm being honest, I think it's one of the best dramas I've ever watched. It's not at all what I would have expected from a vampire show, but I think that works in its favor. So, a little background: the show follows Louis and Lestat. These are our two main vampires. They're together, and for a while, it's just them. But eventually, they decide that they want a family. So Lestat creates another vampire for them. Her name is Claudia. I think what's interesting about this show is that though it's a vampire show, it actually doesn't place that much emphasis on the more aggressive and violent parts of being a vampire. It's a lot more about how their vampire status affects the way that they live and how they deal with it. Even from the beginning, when Lestat turns Louis into a vampire, it was a very selfish act, I'd say. The vampires, they live for a very long time. I'm actually not sure if they ever do die. And Lestat knew this when he turned Louis into a vampire, and yet he still did it because he couldn't face having to live alone. That fear of being alone is a reoccurring theme in the show. Even when Louis decided he wanted Lestat to turn Claudia. And when Lestat turned Claudia, she was only a child. Lestat knew that turning Claudia would mean she would stay trapped in her child body forever. And of course, this would take a toll on her as she grew because she'd be 100 years old in the body of a 14-year-old. That would make it, that would be ridiculously hard to deal with as you got older. And in the show, we can see it makes Claudia's life pretty difficult, from things like forming relations or just being taken seriously. But Louis didn't care, and he begged Lestat to do it, and Lestat did it. Because in the show, Lestat is the only one that Louis knows of that is powerful enough to turn a person into a vampire. And so it was done. They added Claudia to their family. Throughout the show, we see the toll that it takes on Claudia's mental state. And at some points, it's actually hard to watch, you know? Not only that, but Lestat, he's very controlling and downright abusive. It's actually, I mean, it makes for great TV, but it's a pretty well written story. That's what I mean when I say the show, while it is about vampires, it's more it's more about the relations between the vampires. I mean, even at points in the show when we see them killing humans, it's wrong in itself, but it's not the part that you focus on. I mean, to them, it's they have no other choice. And eventually, Louis does decide to stop killing humans to survive, which Lestat sees as a weakness. It feels like he's betrayed what it means to be a vampire. And that's what I mean with this show. It's a really complex show, you know. It's not at all what you'd expect from a vampire show. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend you give it a watch. There's two seasons out, and I believe there's going to be a third soon. I would definitely place it in one of the top dramas that I've watched. And I look forward to season three. Yeah, it's crazy because throughout the story, the vampires, they really do seem like the victims. I mean, at least like Claudia for sure. Claudia specifically, she didn't even ask to become a vampire. She was just made this way. And then she's forced to deal with what that brings, you know? It's honestly a really tragic show. It's a really tragic series. Wonderfully done. And I can't wait for the next season.